Tiger fans, we are back with the round 15 Tigercast Player of the Year votes, and things are starting to get a little bit more interesting at the top of the table. We obviously just come off the round 15 clash against the Bulldogs, which didn't really go our way and wasn't a great game all round. And sometimes those games are a bit more tricky to do votes in than others, EJ. But I think we've done an okay job this week as a collective group. I mean, most importantly, CB submitted votes this week, so that is a step in the right direction.
Oh, well, I did a good job. I don't know about anyone else.
Well, I think there's a few similarities between a lot of us, and I think we'll find there's a few players from the defensive part of the ground that did get votes this week, which we'll bring up on the screen now for the round 15 votes. Starting with the 5 votes, I believe this is the first time this has happened that a player has received all maximum votes, all 5s for Nick Vlosten, who had a fantastic game, EJ.
Yeah, well, if you didn't give Vlosten full votes in this game, you don't know football. He was huge. 28 disposals, 480 metres gained. I don't know. Just if we didn't have Vlosten and maybe one other pillar down back,
very good.
we would have lost by over 100.
And we've probably said that in a few games. Like, it's not just the one game, is it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Our defence has held up really well this year, all things considered.
Yeah. He's kind of getting into that most important player in the team territory in a lot of ways. Could already be.
Yeah, I think I saw something during the week that since 2017, he's like third in the league for intercept marks, and they had a list of like 8 or 10 people or whatever it was, and every other person in the list has been an All-Australian except for him.
It's criminal. It is absolutely criminal. That Darcy Byrne-Jones, I'll never forget that. 4 votes. 4 votes. I went for Ben Miller, as did Grock, as did Tiggs, and yourself and CB went for Timmy Taranto.
Yeah, look, he's having a great season. He battled manfully against a way, way better midfield. I was close to changing it up myself, and I can absolutely understand why you guys have got him in the 4, having an amazing season. But no, Timmy was great again, just outgunned.
He was at the end of the day. He definitely was up against it. And yeah, Ben Miller I put in the 4. Just thought he held Aaron Norton extremely well. In a lot of ways, I kind of wished he was maybe swapped onto Sam Darcy at some point in time during the game. And he was also pretty good with using it by foot too. Like, he was taking off some nice kicks, and again was ultra important for us. And I cannot understand why anyone would think he's not one of the best defenders in our side, right next to Nick Vlosten. For the 3 votes, so I went Tim Taranto for much of the same reasons that you mentioned, as did Grock. Tiggs went for Tom Lynch on the back of the goals he would have got, no doubt. CB went for Dion Prestia, and you went for Ben Miller.
I went for Ben Miller for all the reasons mentioned. As I said, he's very close to being my 4 vote. He's having an incredibly consistent season, and I don't understand why he still gets some of the grief that he does. Back in the premiership years, we had Rance, Grimes, and Asprey, and I used my issue with Asprey was his disposal is not as good as some of the others, and that's my knock on Miller. But when you look at it, the job that Asprey did was the lockdown guy and allowed Rance to do what he did. The job that Miller is doing is the lockdown guy, and he's doing it really, really well.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He's had a super year so far. 3 onto the 2 votes, sorry. So I went for Tom Lynch, as did CB. Tiggs went for Seth Campbell. Grock went for Jack Ross, and you also went for Seth Campbell.
Yeah, I totally get the Jack Ross votes. I struggled and couldn't quite get him in, but I'm glad to see that Grock's given him a couple there because, yeah, I thought he connected really well. Look, down forward, off limited opportunities, I thought Seth was really good. His defensive efforts were good. He tried to give us a spark. After we got to the 3 votes, it was actually hard to find people for the last couple. And that's where I sort of gave a bit of kudos, because we did keep trying and we did keep presenting in the forward half off the limited opportunities. And I think he's fast becoming a really important member of the side. And it was great to see him get some time in the middle, even if he had to do it himself.
I know it was, and that's why I put him in as my 1 vote, because he took initiative to try and mix things up, and I respect that. Not to mention the forward craft bits and pieces as well. So ISF for the 1. Tiggs had Jacob Hopper. CB had Jack Ross. Grock and yourself went for Tom Lynch for the 1 vote.
Yeah. If he just had his kicking boots on, he would have had another couple of goals. That's the one disappointment with him this year, is if he could lead the way by kicking a bit bloody straighter, maybe it would help the kids and give them the confidence. But
he's missed some easy ones, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. But look, he presented really well, took a couple of really good marks.
His last quarter in particular, I thought he outbodied Rory Lobb really well late in the game.
Yeah, he did. And, and Lobb has been in fine form.
Yeah.
I can see why they've almost come to terms with a 1-year deal, because even if the body is not moving as fast as what it used to, the brain is still there and will provide valuable on-field leadership.
We definitely, and we've said this for a while now, but we definitely need him to go around again for another year just to get us through some more learnings and experience with the younger kids. So they are the votes for the week. So jumping across to the leaderboard now, Tim Taranto still sits at top of the table on 164. Jacob Hopper second on 148, but Vlosten's made up some serious ground after getting all 5s this week on 101. I know it reads like a big gap, but if he has more games like that, he could bridge that gap pretty quickly, to be honest. Nankervis 70, Seth Campbell 62, Miller 62, Trainer 46, Banks 39, Ross 39. Good to see Rossi up there. Lawler still in the top handful, even though he hasn't played for a little while. And then it kind of trails down from there. But I know we sort of thought that no one was going to catch Taranto and Hopper. Vlosten's a sneaky chance if he keeps playing like this.
And if he keeps playing like that, maybe, just maybe, he'll get his deserved AA nod.
Has to be in calculations.
Has to be.
Speaking of AA, is Ben Miller in calculations?
No.
For at least the squad?
No.
You don't reckon?
No. And this goes back to, you look at us when we were the dominant side in the competition, right? For 17 to 20 for that 4 years. We really underrepresented at AA. We are not a high possession side, so he doesn't have the stats, and the stats is the beautiful stuff, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good of a job he does stopping. There's defenders out there that stop, and they might stop at a worse, have a worse one-on-one percentage rate, etc. But if they've got average an extra 5 or 6 disposals a game, the pretty numbers will get them the gig, which is what I think has stopped Vlosten previously.
I think that's a pretty good call, to be honest. I think that's, which is the downfall of the actual concept of All-Australian, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that is an argument for another time. But they are the votes for round 15. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Who was your 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1? And we will reconvene next week after the Crows game, and we'll see if the leaderboard can change anymore. We will stop showing the leaderboard at some point in the near future as well. We'll keep it a surprise. Maybe it'll stop next week. We'll see what happens. But we'll see for the next one. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.